Disc 1, Side 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Talking Pictures with Talking Pictures, the fun new podcast, best podcast ever made ever in all of history, where four teenagers who are film students review movies and stuff. This is our first, hopefully our first of many episodes. I am Anthony Barnett. Anthony, I'm good at words. And I am your host and resident bad boy. To my right is
Coley Irving, resident bad boy number 2.
I'm Anthony Barnett. I'm resident bad boy number 1.
That's Jaycee.
Yeah.
I'm Shane. I know nothing about movies. I'm just here to look pretty.
That's right.
That's pretty on the camera.
It's gonna look real good on this not video podcast. All right, so this episode is all of our favorite movies of 2017. We're gonna break it down by genre.
Very belated.
Yeah, totally. We're recording this on
July 7th.
On Saturday, July 7th, 2018. So if we get nuked tomorrow, congratulations, you are the first survivor
of the new apocalypse.
Welcome to this desert wasteland. I don't know how you found my laptop. So yeah, we're gonna break it down by genre. Oh my god. Could you make more noise, Jaycee?
Isn't that my water?
God. So we're gonna break it down by genre.
Oh, no.
We're gonna give ourselves an hour, in theory. Hey guys, so when we recorded this, we didn't know exactly how long it was going to be. I was super optimistic and was like, it'll be an hour. As you can see, this episode is probably like an hour and a half. I don't know. I can't see it because I'm not a time traveler. So this is part 1 of our genre breakdown and top 10. And then coming next week will be part 2. And then the week after that, some shitty podcast about some shitty movie. So thank you guys for listening. Sorry if this is too long. And sorry we had to split it into 2 parts. We love y'all. Bye. This is going to be bad.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we'll see.
In theory, we should have been more prepared.
Oh, yeah. Much. But it's fine. So, yeah, an hour. We're going to break it down by genre. And then at the very end, we will unveil super officially in a really cool way our official
the Talking Pictures Reader's Digest top 10.
Yeah, the Talking Pictures with Talking Pictures Reader's Digest official hashtag 2K17
Sponsored by McDonald's.
Oh god. Top 10 list of our favorite movies of last year. So, all right, I'm starting the timer right. Oh wait, actually, who wants to go first?
I honestly, I just figured we'd shoot out some conversations. Yeah, you can go ahead and start it.
Yeah, because I don't have an hour's worth.
Okay.
Oh, all right. 3, 2, 1, and
Spoiler!
We're gonna spoil stuff. Here we go.
Bringo.
Yeah. So our first genre is thriller. So who wants to talk about their favorite thrillers this year?
I really liked Atomic Blonde. That was pretty good. I saw it with my mom. I think probably yeah.
Your mom, you think, probably.
Yeah. I think it was her. I don't know.
Nothing like seeing a movie about
It's just a random
girls fighting dudes with your mom.
Girls
There's a
fighting
lot
dudes.
of lesbian
Girls
scenes,
fighting
so maybe
dudes,
it wasn't
man.
my mom.
Guys being dudes.
See, I didn't get to see Atomic Blonde at all.
The action scenes are really good. They're all one take and everything.
I know it was the guy who was it, David Leitch?
Guys who did John Wick.
The guy who did John Wick, yeah. Did that one.
The director or the writer?
The director.
Oh,
director. At least I think so. Anyways, someone that was involved with the first John Wick was.
It was very enjoyable. They had a very good choice of music. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
They did a lot of very like
a lot
80s.
of Blue Monday.
Yeah.
I just know that's
very good. Very good.
Quality song. Shout out to New Order.
Sponsored.
New Order.
Sponsored by New Order.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
New Order is our new
Something
unofficial
like
sponsor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag New Order.
We'll be underscoring the rest of these podcasts.
Add us, New Order.
Anyways, Shane, do you have
Yeah.
anything else?
Huh? Oh.
Shane. By the way, Shane didn't see as many movies as us, and he feels bad, but he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I usually
that is a factor.
I half sleep through the movies that I do see. So
or something else, which I'm sure we will talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
All right, Jaycee.
Yeah, Jaycee, go ahead.
My favorite thriller of last year was Good Time.
Ooh, okay.
Because I don't know, it was just a very on the edge, enjoyable movie to watch.
I have Good Time written down, and since you're talking about it, I'll talk about why I love it so much. I think that movie is entirely carried by Robert Pattinson's performance.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, he's such a he's such a shitbag.
He's a prissy boy.
He's such a
no good fun.
Yeah.
In the movie.
yes, he's the
I
worst.
thought you guys were like, he's a good actor. Can I say that? He's a shitbag.
His character is so awful, but he makes it so like he's just the worst person on the planet.
But
yet you're rooting for him the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, by the time he gets arrested, it's like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna delve into spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Spoilers
in advance.
Spoiler warning! I'll edit that to be back at the beginning.
That's a good idea.
Hold on, should we all say it in unison? That would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler! We're gonna spoil stuff.
But when he gets arrested, it's the most satisfying. Yet you're like, damn, no more movie.
Yeah.
But also looking at it in perspective, his whole dynamic with his brother is like the most depressing thing on the entire planet. That movie's great. It's just when you finish watching it, it's just incredible.
Yep.
My thriller for the year, and this is entirely, honestly, the whole movie's great, but based entirely upon one scene that I think makes it the most thrilling of the year is Wind River. There is a moment towards the end of the movie where things are very clearly building up into something insane.
That ratchet up.
Yes.
That to me, that's like
from the moment they all get onto that like oil drill compound, and then they open the door, which by the way is just a genius scene transition because there's a knock and then it opens, and then you realize.
Oh, I forgot that's how it does it too.
Because
it shows what really happened.
Yeah.
But
that's so smart.
But it's because it's a great way of building suspense, because then for like the next 10 minutes you know everything that. I mean, this is just a kind of a given thing, is how suspense works, but you know all how just shitbags these people are.
I like that they use dramatic irony, because a lot of mysteries like that you don't find out until the end. But in this one you find out right before the shit
literally
goes down.
very slowly you're seeing all these things that don't make sense, and then they're just like, yeah, it's because you're not an idiot, because these are terrible people. But that shootout sequence, literally from the moment that Elizabeth Olsen gets Scarlet Witch. The moment that Elizabeth Olsen gets shotgunned through a door, and she goes flying, it's literally just guns and shells. And I've never been so. I remember when that scene ended, I looked over the person I was seeing the movie with, and I was just like hyperventilating. Like honestly, honest to God, the first time in my entire life, I was having trouble breathing after an action sequence because it was just so fucking tense.
I think my favorite shot in that movie is when they're having that shootout.
Oh yeah,
and they start getting taken out, and you're just like, "What's happening?" And then it shows the snow, and you just kind of see the figure, and then you just see the rifle shot go off, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like it's just.
I remember that because I was like, "Why is it cutting the rain of snow?"
Like,
and then you see the.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is it?" Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about how Taylor Sheridan is the man right now?
Hell or High Water.
Wrote Hell or High Water, wrote Sicario,
he did write Sicario.
Wrote Wind River, directed Wind River, and won the director's award in the Instant Regard in Cannes. Sorry, words are fucking hard. But honestly, it makes sense why. Because as good as a movie that is, the reason it's so great is because of just how wonderfully it's directed. There's another shootout sequence when they're in that meth house. And the camera's like sitting behind Elizabeth Olsen, and they peek out with her, and there's no one there, and then she peeks out again, and it's there, and it's like the most the craziest like intentional jump scare. But yeah, that movie was insane.
And that was I was actually, speaking of directorial debuts, Molly's Game. Yeah. Aaron Sorkin. I mean, there were a couple of times where I was like, I could kind of tell that it was a first time director, but like obviously he's been working in the industry for so long. Aaron Sorkin, for the people at home, he's been working in it so long that like of course he crushed it. But like really solid.
A lot of people have said this, but I think I agree. It's very much apparent that Aaron Sorkin directs the exact same way that he writes.
Oh yeah,
just very intense, like kind of untraditional, very back and forth, and it was a solid movie. I don't think I loved it as much as a lot of people did, but I think it is a solid movie.
Not a thriller though. So,
Not thriller.
oh, sorry guys. So I have a couple picks, but since we've already talked about Wind River, and Three Billboards is more of a drama, I am going to talk about my favorite thriller of the year, which was like easily one of my favorites. I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. Was insane, dude. What I have written down is it was dramatic and it was like weirdly hilarious. And it was one of those where I watched I think the first 10 minutes like a year before I watched it again. But I watched like the first 10 minutes and I was like, I don't like this, because it was kind of like nihilistic and depressing, because at that point the main character had just had her house broken into and she was just like depressed, and it felt very I think it's sort of, I haven't seen The Matrix, but I think it's akin to the opening of The Matrix, where he's like stuck in his corporate office and everything feels very stale and like closed up. Same with like Punch Drunk Love. The way it starts is you're supposed to be very like anti-corporate America, whatever, and so like it's sort of very suburbia.
It very much sets up, and this is something that I want to talk about. Because it's very much, the director made a movie that's very much similar to a movie that is, I'll talk about later. But anyways, it sets up a movie that you don't end up getting.
Yeah.
That's
which
what
I thought was
I
insane.
think it makes it crazy.
And the thing that like is my bread and butter, and like the thing that it does perfectly is escalation, because it starts. What is this cord? Sorry.
It's hitting my headphones. What is this cord?
I was sitting here and it looked like a random cord was coming out of what I'm using to record, and it was not, so I got confused. But anyway, it just ratchets up.
Good. I'm just seeing if the computer is.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're fine.
Take a shit. It starts out with her just sort of mad. And then she meets her weird neighbor, Elijah Wood.
My favorite character in that movie.
Yeah, hold on. Let me. I wrote down.
What is the movie even about? I haven't even seen it.
So it's a woman who works in it's an old folks home, right? Because she deals with like people dying all the time. She comes home and her house has been broken into, and it's supposed to be, I mean, not to be all like, oh, suburbia, but like, you know, it's the suburbs, like it's supposed to be safe, whatever. So she feels very jarred, and she's very not cool with it. And they stole her laptop, right? Isn't that?
Yeah,
what
they
she's
steal
trying to
steal some like family heirlooms.
Oh, that's where it's her like grandmother's silver.
Yeah.
So she's mad about it, and she's like talking to her friends, and her friends like, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? And she's like, I don't like that. And then she talks to the cops, and they're like, we never really find these guys. Just like go home. And she's like, what? And then she gets more and more mad, and then she meets this weird Dwight Schrute of a neighbor who's like into karate and stuff.
He's got a rat tail. It's
he's like full grown Atlas star.
Yes, exactly. It's like
that's kind of what I
her name, the actress's name is Melanie Linsky. Yep. She kills it. And Elijah Wood is, I think his name's Randy. I don't really remember. I watched it forever ago. Yeah. But so he's like, yeah, I'll help you get your stuff back. And so they know each other. They meet like one time, and then he like invites her in, and she's like, "Yeah."
I like that he has nunchuckers and a throwing star.
Yes,
that's like
dude,
my favorite.
I want to watch it again now. It's so killer because
it's funny.
They go to some like weird pawn shop thing, and then like something happens that escalates it, and then you find out who robbed her, and then we start to follow both of them, and then like as Linsky and Wood are like doing whatever they're doing, like trying to find this. They do find this. I don't really remember exactly how it was.
It's been a long time.
But I know that like they meet up. Someone gets hit by a car, and then it all ends at these robbers are gonna force.
It gets insane.
The girl and I think Randy. I feel bad that I forgot their character names, but I think it ends with them. The robbers are gonna like force them to help them rob some mansion, and they had gone to the mansion earlier because I think their son. Oh, that's what it is. The son of the people that own the mansion was one of the people that robbed them, but that kid got hit by a car, and so
kidnapped.
But like good.
I guess. But really good. But so he got hit by a car, and then the other robbers are there because the main character is there when he gets hit by the car, and they're like, you have to help us now. Rob his parents because he was in on it. I don't know. I really don't know. It's complicated.
It literally has
is incredible.
The same third act explosion that like Hereditary did.
For sure.
Where it's just like it's one thing.
Or I'd call it more akin to Wind River.
Well, I call it more. So the guy who directed that is a guy by the name of Macon Blair. If you've ever seen Blue Ruin or Logan Lucky, he's Hilary Swank's FBI tag along. But the guy who did Blue Ruin and Green Room, which Macon Blair is also in, is a guy by the name of Jeremy Saulnier, and he very much makes those seems like one movie and then devolves into a crazy, ridiculous, bloody nightmare. Yeah. And I think that's it. The movie's so good, and it's gonna sound like I'm undermining the movie, but it very much it just feels like Macon Blair takes all the right points from all of the things that he learned, because they're like childhood friends, him and Jeremy Saulnier. Just takes all of the right little beats from all of his movies and puts it into his own movie, and just makes a crusher comedy, weird drama. It's so unique, and
it is hilarious. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and it's also incredibly depressing and tense and just incredible. And again, the escalation, because what's weird is that you're talking about how it feels like one movie and then it moves into another movie, but it also feels incredibly natural.
Yeah, no, it does. It's not jarring at all.
Yeah, and it's like Key and Peele's sketches, where it starts as one thing and where it ends up is completely different, but every step is logical, perfectly logical, and really metered out in a way that doesn't feel. It never feels like it explodes and something came out of nowhere. It all feels like it would fit in this world, but it's just insane. It's great. It's great.
It's on Netflix right now.
Yes.
Go watch
really?
it.
Please
it's great.
Yeah, dude, you would love it.
It won the grand jury prize at Sundance
I didn't
that
know that.
year.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's just it's an incredible movie. Watch it now. Yeah. All right.
Sci-fi is our next category. So Shane, what about you?
Smiskol.
Does it have to be a movie that we like, that we enjoy?
No. Just a movie.
Because I see what you're looking at.
Because I also see. I feel like there's a movie in here that we can all talk about that I think we all think that people loved, but we in turn very much hated.
So I at first heard Alien was not very good, and then after I watched it, I heard it was amazing. So I'm not sure what happened there, but when I watched it, I fell asleep halfway.
It's a
Alien
drag.
Terrible. My
It's a
mom
drag.
fell asleep too.
Alien Covenant is
It
a
just
drag.
kept going.
Alien
It was
Covenant
going.
is what I see wrong with Prometheus if I was a person that really hated Prometheus. I really like Prometheus, and there's a lot of people who are like, I hate it, it's boring, and it has nothing to do with Alien, and that's what Alien Covenant feels like to me.
Yeah.
It feels like a lame attempt to take a left turn into something that Ridley Scott did not want to do. It felt
What
like
he
he wanted.
did, though, which just looks weird.
It felt like I know. It felt like he literally got peer pressured into making a movie that he
Oh
wasn't
God,
originally
him
gonna make.
wanting to do Blade Runner 2049 too.
Yes, exactly,
Oh,
and it would have been
God.
insane.
No, I mean how he wants to make a sequel to it.
We'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shane.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, have you seen Life?
Yeah, Life is great. Life
That
is
was Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it's like a micro sci-fi. It's the kind of movie. It's like a rainy day kind of movie.
Okay, but
If you were sitting and you saw it on cable, I'd watch that.
it's not a Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal movie at all.
No.
Because Ryan Reynolds
dies with.
Oh,
he's
really?
dead so fast.
Because
15 minutes.
all
So
of the
fast.
interviews, all of the promo stuff that they did,
It's just him and
it's
Jake
all
Gyllenhaal.
the two of
Yeah,
them.
Ryan Reynolds
Because
they're
literally
like the best of the
dies within the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He
I
like
did not know
like
that.
hardcore like alien
brutal,
crawls inside of him. Blood comes out.
disgusting.
Of him.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
gross.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Can we talk a bad sci-fi movie? And I know I'm the only one that saw this because I'm the only one that cares about this franchise. Netflix surprise dropped the new Cloverfield film.
Wasn't that this year though?
Yeah, that was this year.
All right, 2018.
Well, now
for
now,
a second.
now that
We're going into the
we're
future.
Sorry. I get my years mixed up. We're so far into June. Anyway,
Cue the Jimmy Neutron theme.
I just want to say this for a second. They surprise dropped
Got a
it
blast. Sorry.
in the middle of this year, and we'll talk about this in our end of this year list, but it's dog shit. It's so disappointing. Anyways, sorry, wrong year. I get distracted.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay. I'm gonna talk for 2 seconds about Alien Covenant, and then we can move on. I felt for me there were a couple moments that were good.
Oh yeah,
Michael Fassbender
Yes.
playing off of Michael Fassbender.
it was great.
It was
I like that.
it made me unhappy, but it was
That
good.
scene
Like,
where they're
kind of-
acting together.
I was like, why? But it was enjoyable, and some of the aesthetics were good, and I liked his notes everywhere, and sort of figuring out where this thing came from.
Yeah.
But I do agree with people that are like, we don't. It's like Joker. You shouldn't know where the alien came from. And I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah, no, we shouldn't. But I don't know. There were some redeeming moments. There were some very not redeeming moments. The idea of the only link to Prometheus, or because it's really a sequel to Prometheus. The only way we find out what happened is
It's through parts of the movie that aren't even in the movie.
Yeah, it's through
fucking
it's
insane.
through a short that they released on YouTube.
Yes,
which is
two shorts. One
There were
short.
two?
one short tells you about what happened to Elizabeth Shaw, and the other one is called The Last Supper, and it's literally
which is a pointless scene anyway.
Well, the thing is, it's like the cool crew bonding scene.
Yeah.
And like James Franco shows up and he has lines because in the actual movie, James Franco has literally a glorified cameo.
He's in a picture.
Yes.
He's not even in the movie.
Yes.
And it was like, why didn't they just hire some rando?
It's insane. It's totally stunt casting. That's exactly what it is.
God.
But yeah,
All right.
that movie, we could go on there forever. I will say, at a technical level, the scene with the two Michael Fassbenders playing the flute, I'd like to know how that was done.
Yeah.
But the moment that David said to David, "You blow and I'll do the fingering," I almost cried myself.
And then Barry White started playing.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
I was sitting there and
This is where this is going.
I looked around and I was like, I feel like I'm the only one that's laughing at this, and I looked it up and everyone thought it was funny. So anyways, let's get back on a serious
All right,
story.
Jaycee, your sci-fi.
Okay.
No. I want to talk about it so bad.
We all will. We're all gonna.
Yeah,
but
we all will.
I'm gonna like hold my stuff until it gets to me, and then I'm gonna talk about it. Right?
Okay, well, I would say my favorite would be Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Now, I know that movie came out 4 years ago.
But see, it was about time travel.
But listen here.
Time is relative,
Okay,
according to Interstellar.
But listen, that movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
and
about it
makes up-
later.
And makes up for literally every single movie, like every single sci-fi movie that was bad in the past 4 years.
All right. Do you want to talk
it
about?
makes up for that.
Do you want this to be the next episode? Because we'll just talk about it next episode. We don't.
Okay, that's all I had to say.
It's-
That's it. That's it.
Yes, it's amazing, and all you people who hate it, you're idiots. Okay, so say your real 2017 favorite movie.
It's Interstellar.
Yeah. I don't have a sci-fi movie. They were all bad. I think. I don't know of any. Life? I didn't like Life.
Literally the
Oh,
first
that
one.
counts.
That counts.
Oh,
What do you think?
Look at the year.
What do you think it counts as?
I wouldn't say. I don't know.
Wait, which one did you show him?
I'd say that's.
The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
I don't feel.
Okay.
I
Well,
know
okay.
it's a sci-fi, but
Well, yeah, but I just mean like.
Okay,
But we
okay.
cut mystery.
I see it more of
but
like
we
an
cut
action
mystery,
adventure.
so we have to.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Okay.
That's gonna be mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Spoiler: we're talking about Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah, we yelled for 2 minutes about
And then
a
didn't
movie,
talk about what
and
movie it
we
was.
were like hiding what it
anybody
was.
say it?
No.
No, not yet. He said
No.
Alien. You
Oh, I
said
mean, did we say it when we were?
no.
No, we didn't.
You said
The four of us
Interstellar, dumbass.
saw
and then-
Blade
Yeah,
Runner.
because that's still.
Hey.
Yeah.
The four of us saw Blade Runner together in IMAX. Honestly, might have been one of the greatest cinematic experiences of our entire lives if it was not elevated by the fact that Shane's nose exploded
So-
in the middle of the showing.
So there's a scene. there are two scenes in which the main character played by Ryan Gosling, officer whatever
Officer K from Men in
is-
Black.
Mr. K.
Yeah, he's Mr. K.
Agent K, that's Men in Black.
he's getting what's called a baseline test because spoilers again, he's a replicant.
There's a lot of loud noises, there's a lot of questions, it's very intense.
They play a loud, like just one high-pitched, monotonous note, and they're like screaming stuff at him to sort of get him to like show any sort of emotion. And from my point of view,
Well, here, because I was in Ground Zero, so I was sitting there, and it's a really great scene, and one of my favorite scenes of the movie was about to happen, involving a hologram, and I'll talk about that when I actually talk about the movie.
excuse me, sorry.
But I don't even mean that. I mean that in a legitimately beautiful way. But we are sitting there, and I was ready for this scene, and Shane's sitting next to me, and he's rustling around so much. So I turn to him to tell him to stop because it's distracting. And I look, and both of his hands are cradled under his nose like he's holding a small child. And he looked, and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Ugh," and he points, and blood is running all the way down his hand and arm, and it's all over his shirt and on his pants. And I just didn't.
Shed for you.
I didn't know what to do, so I turned to. Did I turn to Jaycee or I think I turned to Jaycee, right? Did I turn to you? And
Yeah, because I was like, and did like a double take.
I turned
and
to
was
someone.
Like,
I thought I hit you.
Yeah,
say
I don't
next
know.
week?
I
think so.
turned to
Yeah.
either Anthony or Jaycee, and I tapped them on the shoulder,
yeah.
and they looked at me, and I pointed at Shane, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah. From my
you guys
point
were
of view,
like, you just kept moving around and like looking at each other, and I was like
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
I was like, and I did like a double take, and I was like, what did they? Oh my god!
So
Just like,
none of us, all of us were like, man, we really want to
Blood
keep watching the
everywhere.
movie, but we were like, our friend's nose might be broken.
Yeah.
So Anthony trucked it to the lobby to grab him some paper towels.
yeah, from my point of view, I'm sitting there super into this movie, but I'm so ashamed to say this, but I was like, sort of starting to fall asleep. I think I had dipped out like a couple of times.
It's a 3-hour movie. I honestly
and
don't
it's
blame you.
amazing, but it puts you in this dreamy state like on purpose. And I'd been up like super late, but so I just get tapped on the shoulder, and I'm like, I'm again like half asleep but half like really trying to focus, and I just go, what? And then Coley is
I lean back.
Yeah, Coley's leaning forward and he whips back, and I look to the left and Shane just looks up at me with like the most like innocent like Bambi look on his face with like crimson liquid just down his whole front, and I was like, oh, and so I like hopped up and like ran and grabbed napkins. But it was pretty
Okay.
And then I was
So
awake
now
for the rest of the movie.
I'm gonna say why I would probably say that I don't think of it as a sci-fi movie.
But it so is though.
No. Listen. It's an action thriller
I get that.
drama with sci-fi elements.
I would agree with
Because
that.
it's not based on the sci-fi
but like
part.
I mean,
That's
I
fair.
guess Star Wars kind of
That's
is,
fair.
but like I just figured like
That's fair.
why not get it out of the way?
But
so,
okay, so
amazing.
Yeah, so
Incredible.
we talked around it enough, but Blade Runner
Denis Villeneuve.
until
If you
here we can he'll be
God.
episode number 3.
I just want to kiss your face, man.
until 2 other incredible movies that both ironically came out of the same genre came out. Blade Runner was very much all of our favorite films of last year.
Except Shane.
I think. Well, I thought Shane really dug it. Anyways, well, well,
I liked the Emoji Movie.
but
That came out this year, right?
the first time
that came out last year.
it came out last year.
Oh.
I
the
saw
first
that.
time.
I actually saw that
Why?
because I went to the drive-in and some friends were like, "Let's see the Emoji Movie," and I saw it, and I haven't
rough.
recovered.
It was recovered. Same thing with
And
Truth or
now,
Dare.
if every human on the planet died, I think my life would be a little bit better.
But the first time seeing this movie was we went, right? Me and Anthony. We went.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yes.
first time.
It was like a school night,
The
too.
the movie
Oh my
the movie
God.
ended, and it was the first time. You know you've seen a great movie when you sit through the entire credits, and you just let them roll,
Yeah.
and you just sit there, and other people are filing out, and you're just sitting there like, woof.
Yeah.
Woof. There was
And
there,
it also
woof,
it wasn't a like
You know it's a good movie when you start barking like a dog.
woof, 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 woof.
we were just like
But we both sat there and we were both like.
and it wasn't like a Marvel thing where we were like, oh, will there be a tease?
No, it was
we
just
were,
like
it was just
like,
out of pure
like
respect
staring
for the
at
people
the
that made
screen.
it.
And this will probably happen for all my picks of all the genres, but there's one specific moment in this movie that just makes me think that it's just completely genius. And it's such a bizarre thing, but I think it's brilliant. I'm the kind of person that think that
That thing.
that
Sorry.
thinks that love scenes, like graphic love scenes in movies, are completely redundant
Yeah,
Wait, no, I didn't mean.
and are done entirely.
That's gonna sound weird.
he sighed.
Graphic love scenes. I'm like, oh.
just the face that Jaycee made when that noise came out was out of sheer disgust. So, but they're done entirely, like they're very, very explicit on purpose, just because it's breasts and people like that.
It's like how most action scenes really are
Exactly,
pointless.
or just because they're just explosions, but it's the same thing. But this is the first, like nude, almost sex scene that I was just staring at with
and
my mouth.
It wasn't at first.
Well, yeah, it wasn't at first. Literally, my mouth was just hanging open because I was in awe of and this is gonna sound so bizarre, but
Yeah, watch the movie.
the
You'll know what we're talking
craziness that was
about.
on display and how just
It was a visual
Well, it was-
effect
yes.
where a woman who's a hologram and a woman who's real
Are
sort of
syncing up.
sync up their movements so that the woman who's real theoretically looks like the hologram, because the hologram is Ryan Gosling's
Yes.
girlfriend, etc.
It's one of the most fascinating things. It was literally from that moment that whole scene end. Well, because first of all, it completely lays out the dynamic of Ryan Gosling's character.
Yeah,
and
and-
also
and it's
just,
important.
It's
Like,
just
that's why it's so
very.
good.
It's just like mind-boggling. I literally that scene ended, and I have a distinct memory of looking at Anthony and be like, "This is a really good movie."
Yeah.
Like that was the moment that I fell in love with that. So yeah.
Because the effect is incredible, and then it also, to me, what's so amazing about it, or at least I mean, well, it's kind of funny that we're like, oh, it's so amazing because it should just be how sex scenes are done.
Exactly.
But it's
it's incredible.
It's because it's
so and we're all teenagers, so saying this is redundant, but it's so incredibly mature.
Yeah, but like what's amazing to me is that it's for the plot. You know, like
yes, which is very interesting.
The next 2/3 of the movie couldn't happen if that scene didn't happen. Exactly. Because like it sets up. It sets up like Ryan Gosling's
two characters, sets up
humanity,
the rest of the story arc,
perceived humanity, and then the woman who's real is a huge plot point later on.
Exactly.
And the only way
plot point.
Plot.
Sounded like a guy. Shut he'll pop point.
Oh, dude, she's a huge pop point. But so, and like she like sets a tracker on him after that scene, and like she wouldn't have been able to do that to meet up with him later if not for that. Like it genuinely was important, and it's beautiful, and really it has like a lot of it's a lot of like
very impressive. But go ahead.
Okay, so my picks. I'm gonna talk lightly about a couple. War for the Planet of the Apes was really good. For me, I felt like the first half of that movie is genuinely a perfect film. And then about once they get to like the compound, it's still good. And still like, it was definitely like an 8.5 out of 10 there, the second half. But the first half is like this biblical epic that's just like, it moves slow and it's emotional, and it's, to me, and like the visuals of the movie, it is exactly how the Last of Us movie should look if they make it. I
have that put down in a different genre because of the way the second half of the movie actually plays out. So I'll talk about that later. But that movie's incredible.
So that one's great. Andy Serkis is incredible. It was super well written, directed, everything. Star Wars: The Last Jedi, I also loved.
I feel like we could do a whole episode on this.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. I will suffice to say right now, I can see a couple of the problems with it.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who loves it can.
But I don't know about that. Like,
well, okay,
a lot of the people that
are insane.
Yeah. But so it's for those of you who live in a cave and have never heard of Star Wars, it
makes a lot of
makes a lot of changes, and all the fans seem to either worship it as the second coming of Jesus, or hate it as if they're getting stabbed in the eyes with a
rusty nail. I wouldn't even say it's half and half. I would say it's like 70-30.
Yeah, a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think the people that hate it are just louder. You know?
And to say about the changes,
so I think it's half and half.
I literally wrote 2 words next to Last Jedi, and I wrote necessary change. Because I feel like all of the things that it did that's different would like completely just made me appreciate the whole franchise more, because it just I love Star Wars as much as the next guy, but it was starting to feel so redundant. And everything I just seen before, it was brand new, and I know all the problems, but there was just so many good things about that movie that I feel like really do outweigh the bad things.
Rian Johnson, writer director, we love you, man.
We love you very much.
And the 2 things I want to talk about just super quick. Oh, did you want to? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Huh?
Did you want to talk about?
Were you gonna say something?
Did you want to talk? You want to say something? No. Do it right now.
I was just gonna say that the people who are openly hateful towards the movie like to very angrily tweet at Rian Johnson about how Luke Skywalker.
Rian Johnson started trolling them back, and it was really funny.
Yeah.
He was basically, I can't remember what he said. I think he was petitioning to like, I don't remember, but he was trolling him. It was so funny.
Yeah. So in that case, I'm gonna talk about 3 things. 1. Luke Skywalker, I know I'm going to wrap it up. Luke Skywalker deciding to remove himself from the Force. I don't feel like he pussied out. You know what I mean? That to me is like noble. He had this amazing power. He was the hero. And he realizes what the whole prequels are about, which is the Jedi were hypocritical and wrong and bad.
Makes the prequels better.
Yeah. And he goes, and like he knows that he is sort of the cause of a lot of this stuff. And he says, the best thing I can do, the most heroic thing, is to remove myself from the equation. He didn't give up. He was like, I'm making things worse. This is the only way I can help, is to stop. And so he does. I feel like that's noble. Also, the fact that Rian Johnson said, all those things that J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan set up to be like big mystery box reveals, and everyone's been theorizing about and like screaming at each other pointlessly about. Why? No. And so he just, I love that so much, because he was like, that's stupid. Like, and what's great is that it's all for character reasons. Like specifically Rey and her parents.
Oh yeah.
He has said he was like, I felt like her journey needed to be.
Yep.
She
was
needs
a nobody.
she needs to stand on her own 2 feet. So she doesn't. She shouldn't. It shouldn't be like Luke
be a
Skywalker is her
or
parent.
Solo.
No, she needs to be her own person. That's the point, and that's great. The third thing is, I am 100% okay with hating something. Absolutely. I hate. We're going to the future again. I hate Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yes.
I feel like it's terribly edited, almost the worst edited thing I've ever seen. Genuinely. The writing's not great. The performances are pretty good.
Writing's
Coley loves the direction. I can't really separate it from the editing and stuff. But I don't get on Twitter and scream at Universal for making a bad movie. I just go around to all my friends and say, that was a shitty movie. That was shit, dude. But I don't like. There's no point in attacking the people that make stuff. We could get. I'm gonna start.
All right. Opinions.
My favorite Blade Runner. My favorite Blade Runner 2049 performances incredible. When Harrison Ford puts his hand up on the glass at the very end, I have almost cried every single time. Ryan Gosling laying down on those steps, incredible, incredibly written.
The cinematography. I mean, we could talk about.
Oh my God,
literally.
Roger Deakins, dog.
We could honestly talk about this movie for the rest of our lives.
I'm literally just gonna list it.
We can talk about Roger Deakins.
I love the slow. I love the slow pace. The score is amazing. Hans Zimmer killed it, and he worked with someone else. I'm sorry,
Benjamin Wallfish.
Yes, thank you. They did great. Cinematography obviously is some of the best I've ever seen. The direction's great. Everything about that movie really is incredible. If there are 2 movies that I want you to see after listening to this, if you haven't seen them, why are you listening to this? If you haven't seen these movies, because we're spoiling everything. Blade Runner, and we'll talk about the second one.
We'll talk about the second one.
Yeah. All right.
I just want to say one more thing about Blade Runner. Probably the most risky editing I've ever seen in my entire life that definitely paid off, because they drag every possible second that they can out of every single scene.
But it's like Quentin Tarantino, the way he's talked about tension.
Yes.
You can only pull it so far.
There's a scene in when Ryan Gosling is going to pull something out of some fabric, and you know what it is, but the whole time it's just like, what the fuck is it? Because they just hold on the shot forever, and it's incredible.
Yeah,
anyways,
that moment's great because of the dread. Because I'm I know exactly what it's gonna be, because we see what it is in a flashback, and then he's in the same spot that he was earlier, and we're like, okay, so we know what it's gonna be.
Exactly.
But it's just and what's great is that it proves that moment proves the movie's thesis, which is that it's not about the actions, it's about how it affects the characters.
Exactly.
And you just watch his face, and you're like, oh no, buddy.
No, bud.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, bud.
Yeah, it's incredible. All right,
one more thing to say about it.
Oh God.
Best movie of all time. All right.
Yes,
anyways.
agreed. Pretty much.
I have other choices.
Guess best cinematic experience of all time.
Yes, very great, very great. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our next
genre. All right. Also, I was thinking about it because of the way the time is running out. We might do 2 parts.
Or we can just keep going. It's fine.
Yeah. But so, I just mean I don't want to upload a 2 hour.
We can split it up. We'll just put it into one whole long thing.
Okay. The next genre is action. So, Shane?
Oh, that's me. Okay.
Yes.
That would probably be Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
Yeah.
One of my
Baby
favorites
Driver.
ever in my
I think
entire
we
life.
all have a very large fandom for Edgar Wright.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna put it this way: if you didn't like that movie, watch it again. The fucking action, all of the movie is synced up to the music.
It's literally.
And how did you not realize that? And also, why do you hate it, you idiot? And yes, I am directly attacking you.
It
so good.
Honestly, is like a pseudo musical. I think there was one other musical that came out that's entirely overrated and shouldn't be popular at all. But Baby Driver literally is
the greatest show.
Literally is like
he's like, I have a slave lady gonna do an autopsy.
I love that song.
Nice. That song's my favorite.
Anyways, but it's incredible, and Baby Driver is
Edgar Wright has been the shit for
a long time,
ever
now
since
people are realizing
it. Oh my God.
You know why my dad hated it?
Why'd your dad hate it?
Because it portrayed violence towards police officers, and then his mom loved it, so then now he loves it too.
That is the
Happy family.
that is
a little weird.
That's genuinely the best story I've ever heard. Shay. That's the best story you've ever told.
My dad hated it because it portrayed violence against police
And
officers.
his mom loved it, and now he loves it. It's like,
Right.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Jaycee, you're up.
I don't know, honestly. Would you consider Logan?
Yeah.
I have it. I literally have under
Because
action
I haven't
Logan,
seen Logan.
in parentheses ish. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like half.
I'm going to talk
action,
about
like
it for
half-
superhero, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's-
I don't
let's
have
take
Logan
time.
down on my list,
I would say
unfortunately.
okay for action. I'd probably say John Wick Chapter 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I had. I have John Wick Chapter 2 written down, but I have another movie that I want to talk about because it literally the only movie I've ever seen that like the thesis statement of the whole film is the title of the film, and it's called Mayhem. Mayhem is a movie that I think only Jaycee has seen. Probably the only other person in the world that has seen Mayhem.
That's with Stephen Yeun.
Steven
right?
Yeun,
Yeah.
directed by I'm not gonna pretend like it's the kind of movie that you would. It actually was. I think it made a little bit of a dent in its box office run, but it's the kind of movie that you would show up and you would grab from the Walmart bin, kind of like a movie like Stay. We got to do an episode on Stay. You guys need to watch Stay. That's the first thing. Yeah.
That's the Ryan Gosling?
That's a Ryan Gosling, Ewan McGregor,
Yeah.
Naomi Watts, just
I looked
David
it up, I feel
Benioff. It's like a nice meatball. Anyways,
It's a nice spicy meat.
it's the kind of movie that you would pick out of a Walmart bargain bin.
Yeah, which is so
with
sad,
with the kind
according to you
of
guys.
intensity and action and like just overall bat shittery that I have never seen out of a movie in the past 10 years. It is it literally the movie is just utter mayhem. It has a very simple kind of cliched premise where it's literally just like this this virus breaks out amongst an office building that causes like all of the deepest, darkest thoughts that you have. It causes that part of your brain that controls that to completely go away. So if you're in your office building and like Janet from accounting staples like your paper like 4 inches to the left, and you're like, man, I would just like kick her in the shins right now. This virus would literally make you look at her and kick her directly in the shins as hard as you could.
So it's like the keyboard scene in Wanted, but the whole movie.
Yes, the whole movie. So basically, the main character, Steven Yeun, gets fired from his office due to chicanery, which you should find out for yourself. And essentially, he gets this virus, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go up there, and I'm going to get my job back, and I'm going to make my boss give it to me. Because and it's insane. And I don't remember the girl's name in it. Samara Weaving.
Billboards?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Samara Weaving. But she's great. They're great. The movie is just insane. It's the kind of B movie that is it's nuts. To give you a good idea of what the movie is like, at the very end, the final kill, so to say, the main antagonist sprays pepper spray on Steven Yeun, and he sprays it into Steven Yeun's mouth.
Nice.
So he's like, oh, he's gargling on it, but the way that he retaliates is he then spits that pepper spray out of his mouth into the antagonist's face and like completely incapacitates him so he could throw him over.
No,
a
it's like
ledge.
he stabs him in the head
Yes,
with a screwdriver.
it's like
Pretty sure.
It's such a good. It sounds like such a lame movie, but it is so good, and you should go watch it right now.
Also, I really quick, I'm going to talk about my action movie, but I feel bad that I only brought up 2 performances in Blade Runner that were the 2 male leads. But I want to talk about Ana de Armas kills it also, and Sylvia Hoeks.
Whoa.
What? It's Hoeks. Chill. The girl that plays Love.
Yeah.
They are both also incredible. Also, the effects team. Shout out. Sorry. Okay. Literally the best effects I've ever seen.
I agree.
But so my action movie was also Baby Driver. I thought it was incredible that it's all practical. Even Edgar Wright has talked about all of their like close-ups inside the car were all practical. It was super tense. It also has that escalation that I was talking about. The soundtrack's amazing. The way it escalates is it like perfectly ratchets up, and then there's one moment where it just goes, batshit. It's just amazing. He also does this thing where every line, basically every line, in the beginning sets up something that happens or is said in the end. And he's done that in all of his movies, and a lot of times it just adds to the comedy because he's done a lot of like comedies. But in this one, it really drives it home. Just amazing. The graffiti in that one scene, blah blah blah.
Title sequence. It's
just killer. And then Logan, I want to talk about for superhero movies, but that was
a
my
remarkably crafted movie. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. Our next one is drama.
This literally could cover almost every single movie we talked about.
Yeah.
But I think of it more as an intimate, like. Not necessarily like a family drama, but I have like those three.
Yeah.
Not like I wouldn't put Logan under drama.
Well, I just
or like Baby Driver.
I don't know if it's what. Okay, so when I looked up on Google 3 Billboards, it came up as a comedy.
I mean, it's a dark.
It came
comedy.
up as crime for me.
See, Martin.
Well,
So I was like, I guess crime's in genre.
Well,
That's closer. Than
I have it
comedy.
under drama though.
well, the guy
It's a
that
dark comedy.
well,
in
the
some
guy that wrote
sense.
it, he's proficient in dark comedy. Martin
Yeah,
McDonough.
but it's
Dude,
definitely
I just watched
Pillow Man,
in Bruges.
In Bruges.
Okay.
But yes,
Yeah.
you're on to our
All right, Shane, what's
I
your
didn't
drama?
see any real dramas in 2017. The closest thing would have been Mother.
mother. We
kinda-
will.
Yeah, let's
I
talk
kinda
about that
put
for horror.
Horror / drama.
Let's talk about that for horror.
Oh, you could do it under horror. I have it
let's
under
do- let's do
best
some
quote. We'll get to that later.
Because it wasn't really supposed to be a horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
kind of like a psychological horror. But anyways.
I'd say
But yeah, Mother.
since this movie's more of a romance, but I have obviously I already have one for romance. So for my drama, I'd say Phantom Thread
Okay,
because that movie,
amazing,
Oof.
Paul Thomas Anderson,
dude.
best everything.
Okay,
It's-
JC and I think you'll agree with this. There are a couple movies you need to watch after seeing this. One of them is Inherent Vice.
Yes.
It is JC's and my, or it's my, right now it's my favorite movie. I think it's yours too still, right?
I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it is incredible. You're gonna hate it. It's so good. It's so hilarious. The first time you watch it, just sit back. Don't try to figure out what's going on, because it's really not important until like your third viewing. Then you'll figure it out. But like, oh my god, that movie. But yeah, so Phantom Thread, shot beautifully. The score. Oh, can we talk about the score?
Can we talk about the score? The score. We talk about the
Dude,
score.
the score.
One
Yes.
thing, I have this down on my romance, along with maybe two of
Me
the
too.
other
I'll
best
go
movies
down.
of the year. But one thing to say about Phantom Thread, it's the first movie that I've ever felt like sucked me out of the real world. There were multiple times where I stopped because we were all sitting there in the theater, and I stopped and I was like, whoa, watching a movie. What happened?
Yeah.
I got literally felt like I was being hypnotized.
Damn it.
Because
See, I feel so bad because it didn't quite hit me the way it hit you guys. But the more I think about it, and I just like read something on it recently that said what this person felt the point was, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But like for me, I loved it, but it didn't. When it ended, I was like, that was amazing, and I can tell that it was incredible, and I super enjoyed it. But like, what was it about? Like, you know what I mean? But I think I start to get it more and more.
I think we can say that Phantom Thread gets the award for the best mushroom recipe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I hope. I don't know if you've seen it yet. The Master. I was hoping
I've
that
seen
you
half
guys
of
kind of
it.
felt the same way about that.
Yes,
Where-
it's
Yeah,
the same way.
I felt
where
that I understood that even less than Phantom Thread.
It has
but it
the
was
thing
good.
I'd say about Phantom Thread that I've heard said about The Master, really about all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movie post 2010, is it has the same effect on your eyes that watching a 3D movie does. Just where it kind of just feels like everything's like really in your face and open.
Interesting, yeah.
It's I don't know. It's,
Yeah, he shoots
remarkable.
incredibly. And on this one, he didn't have a DP.
Yep.
And the way
just
he's
him
talked
and his
about
lighting
it,
guys, they were just like,
He said
kinda
that
just shot the movie how
he
wanted
was
it
like,
to.
yeah, everyone kind of helped, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? Like, that's not how that works, dude. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And then the score, it was Johnny Greenwood.
Johnny Greenwood.
And
It's- dude, that's it's like the best score. Like,
yeah, the thing that hits me, our mic is falling over. The thing that's like coolest to it or about it to me is that it's like this really, a lot of times this really romantic, like flowy piano, and then underneath is this like really seedy, like really tense
something's
strings.
Wrong. That's
and I'm just like, it perfectly encapsulates what's going on in that movie because it's so romantic and beautiful, but like there's something's going on under the surface.
There's a scene that like perfectly portrays that, and that's the scene where he goes to find. I hate spoiling things, but
I mean,
the main character goes to find his love interest, who leaves him because she wants to go dancing, and he goes to the party, and you hear it's this like long tracking shot of the main character.
Is it at the end that we see? When is it that I'm sorry? Keep talking and I'll ask.
Oh, that's
because we see him walk up to her and then he just stares at her and then it cuts.
Yeah.
But when do we see it go back? Because it flashes back later to them.
See, I don't know if that was a flashback. I thought that was just a
yeah.
show what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a flashback to earlier in the movie. Is it at the end?
Yes, that scene is at the end.
That's incredibly
Where it says at the
constructed
end.
too.
But that tracking shot, you can hear the festive music that's going on with the party, but underneath you still hear the strings going.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It that movie visually and like sonically is like that lifestyle. Like it is those dresses. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like
Everything feels.
it feels like the
of
word
its age.
class,
Yes.
and it just feels like
Definitely.
it feels like a painting. Like I don't know. It just it's great. It really
I
is
think
great.
the
feels like
dreamiest
art.
shot in that movie, and probably one of my favorite shots in that movie, is his sister says she'll meet him out in the country. She's like, I think you need to drive, and
Oh yeah, and then when the camera's on the back of the car.
the fade, and the camera being on the back, and just the music.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now Shane
that's
saw
my
it
favorite.
and didn't quite have the reaction we did. What did you think about it? I'm curious.
I don't know. It's just it didn't have that much meat. I don't know how to describe it.
And it didn't keep you interested.
Yeah.
Did it feel like kind of flat and too slow?
I could understand
I could
like the
see
story
that.
now. But
Yeah, it's definitely a movie
It
for
just
like a
wasn't
very
interesting,
patient person and not someone who skips the
I
talking
like
parts
I
of
like
movies.
a good ending, but it wasn't.
All right.
I don't like talking
yeah.
parts in movies.
Well, they got to spend the rest of their life together, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's alright, but they're kind of monsters.
It's a twist.
Yeah, which is like the point.
Yeah.
And the thing I read was we'll just get into like theme territory. The thing I recently read was that the point of the movie, or it's sort of about how much people are willing to give up of themselves to be with another person. And these are two uncompromising, angry, insane people, and they mesh just in a weird way, just like in real life. Which I was like, oh damn, that's fucking beautiful. Because I got out of it and I was like, what? And then once I read that, I was like, yeah, okay.
I think if you took the time to watch The Master a few more times and like
Yeah, I think I get it. Same with Inherent Vice.
Because
The first time I watched it, I was like, that was fun. But
because
like, now
The
I
Master
watch
is
it,
very more like Phantom Thread in that it's like it's pretty simple, but it's like a complex simple. Like it's weird because like Inherent Vice, it's like very complex and it's like you have to understand.
Yeah.
But in those two movies, it's
Well,
simple to know what's going on, but it's deeper.
What's great is it's about. I think about both of those movies. I sort of found like my link is it's very about the emotion.
Yes.
I think the plot's very simple, but the way it's shot and the way it moves and the way everyone acts, you feel like something's going on underneath.
Yeah.
But I think I'm used to what's going on underneath being like an intellectual thing, but it's more of just like an emotional thing. And I just need to like figure out how to synthesize that. You know what I mean?
Is very good at portraying deep human emotions.
Yes,
Because
very
those
much.
two movies,
I would say that has to do with
Just
like all
that.
of his male characters are very much like just well
very very
handled,
complex,
and they're more than just the scary men.
Great.
So are you all good on your dramas? Because I have a lot written down here. I'll say the ones I have written down. I have 3 billboards down here because I feel like it's the category that it goes under best.
Yeah.
I really like 3 billboards. I love Martin McDonagh. I'm a theater man by night. So I really love his plays. He has a play called The Pillow Man, which is about child murder.
We're gonna make it like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's fine. We can just keep going.
Sorry, we have on my timer we have 10 minutes and 24 seconds left. So we're gonna make this like an hour and a half long, or we'll split it into 2. We'll just see what happens.
But anyways, he has a play called The Pillow Man. It's about child murder, and it's hauntingly dark, but also it's just incredible the ways he is able to bring comedy.
He has a thing about kids dying because of In Bruges and that.
Yes.
And he has something's up with midgets. And
They're always there.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Because In Bruges, it's like a big deal.
Yes.
And then
He's like
in
writing-
this one,
he's like writing. He's like child death, sprinkle little midgets in there.
he's like, this just doesn't feel done.
This is all done.
alright.
Let's throw a midget in there.
Let's
and
throw a
let's-
midget.
Let's throw a
let's kill a kid.
Put a midget.
We're good. Yeah.
But I will say the thing that I think is tremendous about that movie is that it has maybe the greatest character. The reason that this movie I think bumps up like 5 points for me. It's a great movie, but it has the greatest character arc I've ever seen in my entire life.
Truly.
It takes
I really
literally. I don't think you can say you have done everything as a writer until you make the audience feel for a racist bigot.
Yeah. Because you hate
It goes
It's
by
Sam.
the name of Sam Cocksmell.
Close.
Close.
Sam,
One of those words is wrong.
Sam Rockwell plays a cop
Yes,
who
who's
is a
so
racist.
racist.
He's a bigot. You really hate him in like the opening 20 minutes of this movie, and by the end of the movie, you're like, yes,
This guy's great.
you're like 100% this guy.
Yeah.
This
Exactly.
is the guy. Yeah,
It's so incredibly
there are
complex.
people that actually complain about that exact point. That thing.
I can see that.
That
but,
makes
but
sense.
But the thing is, he
I can
changes.
see it, but people
Yeah.
think that. The
Oh yeah,
director,
we probably should have clarified. He's not still a racist.
No, he's not
bigot
still-
at the end.
Yeah.
You come to love him as he changes, which is what's great.
But
But he's not the focus,
people-
which is why it's even better. You know,
There's
what I
a
mean?
lot of people that think that Martin McDonagh is trying to make me love racists.
No.
Which makes zero
Why'd you say
sense
that
to me.
in a racist voice? oh, he's trying to make me love myself. I hate those. Anyway.
Irony. All right, okay. Moving on. So we talked about it earlier, I have War for the Planet of the Apes down here and a drama because that movie is so many things.
It's like a biblical epic.
Yes, and that's
I
what
was
I love
just
about
about
it.
to say that.
It's so many things at once that I feel like I have to put it in the most broad and general category. It's a science fiction action movie with complex themes about the human emotion and also
It really is, it's very existential.
Yes. But
Yeah,
also at the
great.
same time, it's like a biblical epic, like we just
Yeah,
said. It's all of these things.
Yeah, I don't know how it strode all those lines and still came out.
Yes,
as
how
as
good
it
is it? I literally, the person I saw that movie with, I came out of the theater and I was just like, I have no idea how a movie about sentient talking apes that kill humans made me think that much about so many things and still be one of the most enjoyable movies of the year.
Was this the fourth one?
This is the third
the
one.
third.
The third one, the
Okay,
end
I've
of the
seen
trilogy.
The second one.
Yeah, the second one's really good. I actually,
I like the second one.
I don't like Dawn very much.
Was it
a
not
lot
as
of
deep as the third?
I don't know.
I liked all three of them, honestly.
I liked Rise, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is like this weird emotional roller coaster." And I watched it.
It's
like,
it's
it's
more.
fine.
It's the least.
I liked it.
War-
It's the least like intellectual, I guess. It's more of an action movie, whereas the first one is like a family drama, and then like it splits up, and then you're like, what is this gonna be? And then it completely shifts to this like post-apocalyptic, like just sort of a fun romp, but like it's like it's a little bit like hierarchical with like the Julius Caesar themes going on, but then this one is. It's very emotional in like a more private way, but it's so much broader. Like I don't know, I really don't know how to talk about it. It was incredible.
War was the movie that I was expecting
For Dawn.
for Dawn.
Really?
The kind of movie that people were describing me for Dawn was the movie that I got for War.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
see
it's
that.
it's
Yeah, it was
just
good.
remarkable.
I still super enjoyed Dawn.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I liked it for sure.
And the last movie I want to talk about, and this is more one that I'm kind of meh on, and it's weird because everyone seems to love this movie.
Oh yeah.
I am really, I'm kind of on a mixed bag with Dunkirk. A lot of people were like
you and I agree
behind
on
that
that.
movie, like it was like this great war film. Some people had issues on the fact that it was kind of just broadly covering the war and not focusing on main characters.
Which what I liked.
That's what I
the
liked.
point.
Yeah, that's the point. But there's
Yeah.
just something, and I can't put my finger on it. There's just I saw the movie 3 times, twice in regular theaters. I saw it once in 70mm IMAX, which whether or not I loved the movie or not was 100% worth it. There's just the film just never grasped me.
You know what?
There's nothing that like with all the other movies that I really love this year, there's a moment in which the movie sucks me in and it's got me. But it always feels like
because it's like the stakes.
Yes,
you need to be invested.
exactly. It
And
always
You
it
don't
always
have anybody to root for.
exactly. It
Yeah.
always
It's
feels
just
like
a static, neutral point of view.
which is weird because everyone says it's so tense. But I was thinking, I think that's part of my problem with it is that it doesn't feel tense because it's just like I don't care
yes.
really about any of these people, and it's not like I want them to win. It's like I want them to survive, but it's like I don't know. It doesn't.
It always
it's exactly the same. It didn't grab me.
It always feels like it's about to do something that's
Yes.
going to make me get onto it, and then it just doesn't. And I know that the whole point of the movie is to kind of it almost just with the way that it's constructed. Okay, let's just say this from a technical aspect, it's probably the most impressive movie of the year in terms of completely practical effects.
Yeah, practically. Yes.
Because we know how Nolan is about that stuff. In terms of practical effects, that movie is an outstanding technical achievement. But it honestly does not feel like it does enough.
Yeah.
It feels like it barely scratches the surface on what could have been an incredible concept.
And for me, because it does the split timeline thing where it lays out at the beginning, on the beach, this is a week.
Which,
on
cool or not, timeline cool or not, honestly takes me out of the movie because it's so damn confusing.
Oh, see, because
Really?
well,
Yes.
I think I'm going
Yes.
to touch on that and what I'm going to say.
It's cool, and I appreciate that he's doing something unique with every movie that he does, but it's honestly like rather confusing to the point where it just completely pulls me out of the movie because nothing makes sense.
Yeah, see, I'm going to touch on that. Well, I like that concept, and what it is it's like the beach it takes place over a week. On the boats, it's a day, and then in the planes, it's the very last hour of this whole timeline. And I'm like, dope, I'm in. And the way they set it up, it's kind of vague, which I'm like, I'm okay with that. But then he does this thing where he doesn't do anything with it. Like there should be moments where the planes fly over the boats in like the very last hour, and you're like, yeah, those are our boys, and that was back then because we saw from the plane
There
the
are
boat.
a few cool
but like
moments.
my thing is they don't do that. Like you need to, if you're gonna set that up and if you're gonna use it, use it.
There's one moment that
it wasn't clear enough, and it just wasn't quite. So everything just felt like a straight, or it felt like a diagonal line slope, like just going up. Like it didn't feel like it.
there was,
like mountains.
there was never. It was just
Yeah, like it never peaked, and there were no cool. Again, like when two timelines meet up, that should be dope. Like you should be like, or like when all of them meet up. That was the closest to cool that it got.
I'd say there was
like,
one moment that I thought should have been what the whole movie was, and it's when blonde-haired man's planes go down, and you see him when he's on the plane and he's waving the gun, and you're like, oh, it's because he's okay, and then it does it from his perspective, and it's really because he's drowning.
And it cuts like 10 minutes later, right?
Yes, which is genius, but that should have been the whole movie.
Yeah, and it's like so you're up in the.
I don't know what I'm expecting out of a war film to be a genius time bender, but still, I feel like
it's
more could have been done with the concept.
But like he's up in the air and then he crashes, and then you're still up in the air in this like last hour timeline, and Tom Hardy sees him wave, and you're like, all right, and then he flies off, and then like 10 minutes later you're with the boats and they meet up with him, and then it cuts down to the boat timeline in quotation marks, which is the we're now in the last hour, but it just moves different, and then you're like, oh snap, he wasn't, and like you're saying, that's cool, but it's like, why wasn't that clearer for the whole rest of the movie? Like there just need to be moments like that.
See, I don't know. I am completely opposite of you guys. I have like this weird love for the movie that I had no idea why.
I got you. Yeah.
I think it's just because, like, the point that you guys brought up, a very good point about the intensity of it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's super intense, but you guys weren't seeing how it was intense.
Yeah, it just doesn't hit. It just doesn't hit me that way.
I think it might just be because the soundtrack is.
Yeah, the soundtrack's smart.
Is great.
Yeah,
I won't even say that it's great. I'll just say it's like really smart. The way they use that,
It's very smart.
because it's like the notes.
It's more of a soundscape than it is a soundtrack.
I think that's just my thing with the movie. Is I have this weird love for it because it's just an enjoyable experience.
Also, my big problem with it is at the very end. I'll show you the timer because Coley's trying to look at the timer. Yeah, we're gonna do like an hour and a half.
We're gonna keep going.
But so at the very end of the movie, Tom Hardy, who's one of the pilots, he passes over the beach using, I guess, apparently the last of his fuel to like save people. Like he shoots at some Nazis, and then he's like, well, I'm done. And so he points his plane away from the beach because he's out of fuel, right, at this point.
Yeah,
he's just sailing.
Yeah. And so he's like, all right, and then he aims his plane away from the beach. And he just flies off, like off. And then at the very end of the movie, he lands. He like glides into a stop, and then he gets out of the plane, and then a bunch of Nazis come over the hill, and he lights his plane on fire, and then he's just standing there for the Nazis to come. And I'm just sitting there like, why didn't he land on the beach? Like, he was there, like just sort of, spin it around until you get into a good spot, and then just bring yourself down and land on that beach and hop on one of those boats, buddy. Like, why did he fly? Like it's and the music ratchets up as if it's like this super heroic sacrifice, and I'm like, I'm no rocket doctor, but like if you just turn the plane around, you can land and get on that boat. Like, you don't need to sacrifice yourself. You did your job and like go home, buddy. Like it really was pointless in my opinion. But anyway, my drama is 3 Billboards. I'm just gonna like talk super quick. Sam Rockwell, like we said, amazing. Woody Harrelson is also incredible and kills himself like half an hour into the movie.
The greatest letter writer of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, so good. His performance also is incredible. You love him, and then he kills himself, and you're like, oh no!
And the shot of her reading his letter, and you find out that he paid for the billboards. Like halfway through the movie, is a scene that
that's dope.
I tear up at.
Yeah, because for those of you that haven't seen it, this Frances McDormand plays a mom whose daughter was killed, and the police aren't looking for the murderer. So she puts up 3 billboards outside of town, not the name, and she puts up 3 billboards to. We'll pause it. Hey audience, it's Anthony. So this is the end of this first episode. Sorry to cut it off there, but as you heard, we did pause it at that point, and it was about halfway through our recording, so you can expect a pretty similarly lengthed episode next week. Speaking of next week, we will finish talking about 3 billboards next week, and then continue with the rest of our genres, and then get to our official Talking Pictures Top 10 Best Movies of 2017. So if you enjoyed this and you're interested, check that out next week for sure. And if you did enjoy this, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. But genuinely, we talk like this with each other. I mean, we don't do genre breakdowns and top 10s, but we do talk to each other, about movies, and we talk in depth, and we love doing it. And at least most of us, our dream is to make movies. So we love this stuff. And so we thought it would be fun to do something similar to what we normally do, but put a little more work into it and actually record it. And hopefully people enjoy it. If you enjoyed it, again, we really are super grateful, not even just in that stupid YouTuber way of like, oh, we love our fans and our fans are the best, but like we just appreciate if you dug what we were saying. But so if you did, next week will be part 2, like I said. Also sorry for the weird switches in audio quality. Obviously, like the intro and this sound a bit different than the bulk of the episode. I'm actually in my car right now recording, so that's how professional we are. But so we're learning, and if you stuck through the weird quality and us talking over each other and me saying every 2 seconds and me stuttering, thank you for getting past that. We're trying. We enjoy doing this, and we're going to try to keep doing it. So I think that's all I had to say. Just thank you. Yeah, that's all I can remember. Yeah, so tune in next week for part 2. Bye-bye now.